Hey everybody, David Jordan. Thanks for watching. Just finished a 2-day program with Matt Reynolds, and I got to say it's been an eye-opening experience. I'm going to introduce Matt in just a second, but if I can ask him to bear with me just a second. Ever since I can remember, I've been in and out of gyms. I've tried different programs. I've read stuff online. I've never sought professional training. I never wanted to invest in the money and things like that. I've had 2 hernias repaired over time. Just no real guidance. I've asked a lot of questions. I get lost in some of the logistics behind weightlifting or fitness in general. I can say with Matt standing here, or if he wasn't standing here, I got more out of this 2 days, more concise, precision information than any other time in my life. I think I told you yesterday that I had so many questions waiting for you, and Matt was able to answer most of them half of the first day. So without further ado, I want to give you an opportunity to meet Matt Reynolds. And Matt, first of all, thanks for doing the interview.
Thanks for having me.
I know you're worn out.
I'm all right.
He was expecting a certain amount of participants, and it actually ended up being a lot more than that.
That's all right. It's good.
And so he was running and gunning, but managed to do that very very eloquently. So Matt, if you don't mind, kind of explain to us the company.
Sure.
And a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I'm Matt Reynolds. I've been a coach, a strength coach for about 18 years now, going on into my 19th year. So I've just been doing it for a long time, and owned the biggest strength gym in the country. Actually just sold it just a couple months ago. And so I have turned my attention. I've been doing seminars with the Starting Strength organization for a while. Starting Strength is the best-selling fitness book of all time, and so I work with those guys, and they're an incredible organization. And so, but I also do my own stuff, and so do stuff with Fight Strong. So we've put together a seminar here for guys who just want to be harder to kill. Guys who are enthusiasts in the firearms industry, and also just people who just want to, they've got their link they know their weak link in the chain is the fact that they're not strong, or that it's the fitness sort of level, or it's nutrition, and so we've tried to put together a very simple, basic training program and a basic seminar that kind of attacks all of those things. And boy, it's easy to get overwhelmed. Of course, in the same thing with the firearms industry, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and so we try to tackle basic sort of information and hit on a lot of the kind of myths that you see in the industry. And so like I said, yeah, I've done this for a long time. I was a competitive powerlifter for years. I still compete some, but I've been competitive in powerlifting since 2001, and then did strongman. Started doing strongman like you see in World's Strongest Man. Started that in late 2004, and then won my professional status in that in 2006. So like all those guys on the World's Strongest Man, I've competed with those guys and against those guys. Usually got beat by the guys that are in the World's Strongest Man. Actually, always got beat by the guys in the World's Strongest Man. Was good enough to be a pro, but I wasn't very good pro. So it's a lot changes when you go from being one of the best amateurs in the country to the worst pro in the country. So it switches. And so, but man, I've loved this stuff. I teach exercise science at the university level, and have done that for a couple years as well. And so, I just love this stuff. I read all the time, and this has just never gotten old. And so I love to see people change their bodies and change their lives. And we focus on performance just like we do in firearms. And so I've taken a lot of firearms classes as well. I'm one of you guys, and I know that performance is what we look at first. We look at mindset and the way we look at what are those things that I need to focus my mind on to make sure that that's right. This is tough. It requires someone to be mentally tough, and so to get under a heavy squat bar and squat heavy, or to continue to make progress when it's not easy to make progress, or when you've got cravings for food that you shouldn't have, and so that kind of stuff is important. And so mindset's big, and then we teach you the basic tactics that you need to know, and to be able to perform the lifts correctly. correctly, to how to program basic workouts for yourself, how to eat correctly, how to do all that kind of stuff, how to condition correctly. And, and then we give you the tools that you need to go home and do it on your own. And we talk to you a little bit about gear and the stuff that you need. And again, just like firearms, gear is important, but it's the least important of the stuff. Right. And so there's a lot of stuff you can do just exactly where you're at right now. People don't have to even have a gym membership right now. They don't have to own a gym at their, have a home gym necessarily. And so we start to tackle that stuff, man. It's a blast and I love it. So had a great time this weekend.
We're at Tactical Response, and this is the inaugural offering of it?
Yeah, so we did a test run of this with the staff in September. So I came down and took away the pistol with Tactical Response and then stayed an extra day and did it with the staff, and it went really, really well. And so they asked me to come back, and so this is the first official one that we've done. It's gone really well. So yeah, Fight Strong. So it's gone really, really well. We'll continue to do this. We'll do this several times throughout the year for sure, and offer it, and may even take it on the road some. And so we'll see if people are interested in it. But again, it's one of these deals where it's I know for me, I've grown up, I've done this fitness sort of stuff for almost 20 years. And I looked back a couple years ago and said, look, I have the weak link in my chain on if how easy am I to kill? Well, from a physical standpoint, it's pretty hard. And but I didn't know anything about firearms, and I wasn't a firearms guy. I wasn't raised around firearms, and so I got a Glock 19. I wanted to learn how to use it, get my CCW. That kind of stuff was very important to me, and so that was the weak link in my chain. I know for a lot of probably the guys that follow your site and the guys that follow Tactical Response and James Yeager, it's the opposite direction. So they're very, very good with firearms. A lot of those guys really pay attention to that world, but the fitness side is definitely kind of the weak link in their chain. And so, and a lot of it is probably just lack of knowledge. There's a lot of ignorance there. They just don't know, and that's what it was for me too. It wasn't that I was lazy or wasn't that I was dumb in this kind of stuff. I was just ignorant. I just didn't know it, and so that's really what we're trying to tackle here. So this class is really mostly for. I think that anybody at any level could get it, from absolute beginners to advanced, but for the most part it leans towards beginners and novices and say, like, how do I get started in this stuff? How do I kind of cut through all the bull crap? And I want the biggest bang for my buck. I don't want to have to train every day for 2 hours. That's not what we're trying to do. We're not trying to turn these guys into bodybuilders. We're not trying to turn them into powerlifters. We're trying to turn them into better warriors, harder to kill, take away that weak link in the chain, and I think we do that pretty well.
If somebody were to say, I know how to shoot, why would I need to learn how to lift weights?
Sure.
Why would I want to be stronger?
Sure. Yeah, so strength makes everything better. So we know that. So strength makes, if you think of all the physical attributes, so I can be fast, and I can have good endurance, and I can have flexibility or mobility. I can be powerful. I can be explosive. I do all those things. Strength makes all of those things better. Like, it actually makes all of them better. So if I want to jump higher and I work on my jumps and I get my form right for jumping, how do I get better at jumping once I have good jumping form? Well, I have to just get stronger, right? And if I want to get faster, I want to be more explosive, and I have great sprint form or whatever, and I get all that stuff right, how do I get faster? Well, I just have to get my legs stronger. I have to get stronger. And so, and then from a kind of survival impact, when we start to look at survival sort of stuff, what are the chances that you're going to need physical prowess more than your ability? So you think about being in law enforcement in the past. How many times did you have to use your physical ability? How many times did you have somebody running away from you and you had to run after them and catch them? What is your ability to basically take somebody down? It's certainly a much greater chance to do that. I mean, even in a city that's maybe not a lot of violence, or in a suburban area, there's still not. You're going to have some major kind of physical interactions as a law enforcement officer 5 or 6 times a year. Right. Well, hopefully you don't ever have to shoot anybody. Hopefully you never fire a shot, right? And so the chances of you actually firing a shot is significantly lower than the chances of you needing to be physically strong and so be able to take care of yourself. And we want to be ready for anything. I mean, you want to be prepared for the fight. You don't know what that preparation has to be. It has to be very broad, because we don't know what the fight's going to look like, right? We have no idea. When that time comes, is that an active shooter situation? Is that a situation where I've got to gather my family and get to a safe place? What are we dealing with here? And so strength is a big piece of that. And not only does strength make all the physical attributes better, strength makes your mental side more strong, right? So mental acuity, the way you carry yourself socially, the way, like, even it has spiritual impact. It's these mental sort of sides too. When you see somebody that's strong, when you've kind of refined yourself in the fire of strength, you carry yourself with more confidence, and it's not about being arrogant. It's actually the opposite of that. You tend to be better at subduing situations when you're strong. Again, I mean, people don't pick fights with me, and I don't get in bar brawls, and I don't, it's just not the kind of stuff, and I don't carry myself as though I would, and I'm not in places where I would get in bar brawls at 2:00 in the morning. I don't do that. But at the same light, that's a great sort of, it's a massive piece that I think is missing from most people's life. So.
All right. Yeah, I can't agree more. I was hoping you'd bring that up because there's so many people that get one-sided about things, whether like defending themselves and things like that. What would you recommend for somebody just starting out on their journey to become more physically fit? And I want to mention that we're not really talking about aesthetics. Like 100%. We're not talking about like bodybuilding and sculpting and things like that. We're talking about strength, being strong,
performance.
Yep. So there's people out there that want to change what's going on with them. Maybe they don't have to back up and redo themselves. Maybe they're starting out fresh or whatever it is.
Sure.
Some advice for us guys just starting out.
Sure. Well, again, you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck with strength. When you build your strength, that's going to help. And so we define strength as the ability to produce force against a resistance, so against an external resistance. So we're not talking about, oh, this person was strong because they beat cancer, and that does require a certain type of like mental strength. We're actually talking about building up strength, and so the way to do that best is with basic barbells. We do basic lifts. We take all, there is literally an infinite number of exercises you could do in a gym. For those of you guys that live in big cities, you can walk into a great big giant kind of box gym, Globo gym, and I mean there are millions of exercises you could do. And so you go like, where do I start? Well, we start with the exercises that use the most muscle mass, use the most weight for the greatest effective range of motion. So, and that is the squat, the bench press, the overhead press, what most people would call the military press, and the deadlift. And we just teach you those basic movements, and it's really simple. You go into the gym, you perform the basic movements, you start really conservative, you add a little bit of weight each time. Again, Starting Strength is a great resource there, both from their website and their book. And we just teach you the basic movements, and you just keep going up from there. Now, for some people that don't even have access to barbells, just starting to move from the very beginning will make a difference. If you're not used to squatting and you learn how to sit in a chair correctly and stand back up, and you start to do that, that'll actually make you stronger in the beginning, but not for very long, right? So for some people who are really out of shape, and a lot of these guys that had never lifted, and they were doing it this weekend, they're sore just from doing the squat. I mean, just from the actual movement. We didn't put a bunch of weight on their back. We didn't do a bunch of volume. We're not going to make them sore because they did a whole bunch. They're going to be sore because they just hadn't squatted down and stood back up. And of course, we teach you how to do stuff so that it's safe on the knees and safe on your back. And so certainly there are ways to squat that are not safe for the knees. But a massive component of what we do is how to do this safely, how to do it so that you're actually lifting for health. And so, if you follow what we do, you should come out of this not just stronger on the other side, but healthier on the other side too. So performance is what it's all about. And again, it's very similar in the firearms industry, right? So performance comes first. And the type of gun you have and aesthetics, like for guys that are really in the know, that comes second. We all know guys in the firearms industry that aesthetics comes first. They want the coolest looking gun, blinged out, all that kind of stuff. They don't have any idea how to use it. Same as in the fitness industry. You have the guys, they want abs, they want pecs, they want biceps, but there's no real performance there. They're not strong. They wouldn't know how to take care of themselves. That's not what we're dealing with. We're trying to make warriors here. This is about the martial lifestyle. And so that's what we're building, and so that we try to make it as basic as we can. But it's basic barbell training. It's squats. It's deadlifts. It's and it's 3 times a week, an hour a day. So you're talking about 3 hours a week is enough to actually get really brutally strong. I mean, really strong enough to tackle anything that life could throw at you.
I'm really excited at the fact. Typically, I go to the gym about 4 times a week, and that's pretty consistent. Don't judge me, but I'm excited about the fact that with this program that I've got now, I'm equipped to go back and in fewer days in the gym,
make more progress.
So much more progress. I feel like.
Yeah, sure.
Like I literally walked in with a handful of ideas and preconceived things that had worked for me, and some things just knowing some things that had not. And I expected for 2 days I'd get some information, but how much can you get in 2 days? I cannot say enough how well prepared I feel going back to the gym. I really, some of the strengths of the class, pardon the pun, for me was the fact that you were able to take like laws of physics, chemistry lessons, like all the, when we got to nutrition, I confessed to you early, I've heard nutrition, I've read nutrition, I struggle with it.
Sure.
Understanding, what to eat when, and Matt's way of taking that confusing or difficult information and making it so much easier to understand.
Sure.
It was so concise and targeted for what I needed to know. Instead of the, kind of like tactical response training, instead of the hip jargon that was going on now, words that people could understand, and analogies that people could understand, and I just really appreciate that. I literally am walking away 2 days later with not only, with the complete program. Like I will start, today is Sunday, and I will start tomorrow.
Yep.
With on this new leg of my journey. I've got a fitness plan that includes the nutritional part of it. Matt has you develop goals of certain lengths and quantifiable. I thought that was very
measurable.
important.
Yeah, definitely.
Not just, I want to be better.
Yep.
Which you were very gracious when we kind of threw those at you.
Sure.
But he always hammered down to, now how can we make that quantifiable? And so I feel like I'm walking away with a complete package.
Good.
And I think that if you get the opportunity to attend Fight Strong, like there's no doubt. I don't care what level of fitness you're at. I would recommend it. There were all levels here.
Yep.
That's it. There were all levels here. And I think, I don't know of anybody that wouldn't have recommended it as strongly as I do. You mentioned a while ago about home gyms.
Yep.
And I know for some people that seems to be a better option. What
Sure.
What are your thoughts? If I were starting a home gym, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, one of the things I like about a home gym, especially with the way we teach strength, is that it doesn't take a lot of equipment. Again, you think about, you walk into a gym, it's overwhelming. You've got hundreds of cardio pieces, and you've got all these machines, and you don't need any of those. So, I'm not going to buy a $5,000 treadmill to walk on a treadmill and read a magazine on. That's not training, right? So, for a lot of people, that's the thing that they check off a box every day. Like, I walked on the treadmill, right? But they didn't really get any better. And so if they haven't ever walked on a treadmill and they walk on a treadmill for the first week or two, yeah, that's going to make them better. But then what? They're just going to keep walking on the treadmill? Your body adapts to that, right? So one of the things I like about the idea of a home gym is that it's not that expensive. It doesn't take that much equipment. So we're talking about putting together a squat rack. You get yourself a squat rack. You get yourself a barbell, and you get yourself some weights, and you get yourself a little flat bench, just like you use in high school. It doesn't need to be anything fancy, just a good sturdy flat bench. And that's really all you need to start, right? We go get plywood, OSB from Lowe's or Home Depot, and put it on the floor underneath to protect your concrete floor from the weights hitting the floor. And so and that's it. So you basically need an 8x8 space. That's what you need. So 8 foot by 8 foot. You put 2 pieces of 4x8 sheet plywood down this way, then 2 pieces on top of it like this, and then you could put a third layer down, but 2 layers is probably enough. You get 1/2 inch, 5/8 inch plywoods like that. Lay it down, put a squat rack on top of it, put the bench, get yourself a barbell, get yourself weights, you're done, right? So you're talking about for certainly under $2,000, you can do that. And I know for some people that might sticker shock even $2,000, and if you get on Craigslist or you get it used, you can get it for $300, $400.
Especially right after Christmas.
Yes, but right. So especially so everybody's starting their stuff January 1st, yeah. Which means about February 15th, there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff for sale on Craigslist, right? So you can get on Craigslist and get it used. And used stuff is fine. There's nothing wrong. I mean, look, my iron plates, my weight plates, they're used after I use them. So why do I care if somebody else used them first? Like I don't. So get a used squat rack. That's just. And so when I'm talking $2,000, I'm talking about top of the line. I'm talking level like buying a Glock instead of buying some used whatever. So you're talking about buying nice, really nice stuff. And so certainly for not more than that. And you can definitely find it for less if you bargain shop too. And so, and if you think about what a gym costs, the home gym will pay for itself pretty quick. And then you also think about your time, right? So if a gym is 15 minutes away, it's probably pretty average for most people who are driving to the gym. You're talking about a 15-minute drive to the gym, a 15-minute drive home. That's 30 minutes. You multiply that 3 times a week by 52 weeks, right? We're talking about that's an hour and a half a week. You're talking about hours and hundreds of hours, so 150 hours basically of additional time driving. What is your time worth, right? So if you get paid $20 an hour or $50 an hour or $100 an hour for what you do, like that time is valuable. And so to be able to have that in your garage, in your basement is nice. You can train with your family, you can train with your buddies, and so it's I think you can really create a nice atmosphere there. Now, joining a good gym too, good gyms are hard to find. Like if you want to find a good gym, you're going to look for a barbell-based gym. And one of the things I've told James Yeager is he said, hey, I'm looking for a gym. What should I look for? I said, do they have chalk? If they have chalk for your hands, it's a pretty good gym. So if you go to a gym that's got neon lights and Globo and gym and the 18-year-old kid with the name tag that says trainer and aerobics instructors and purple machines, then that's not what you're looking for. So you're not looking for $10 a month, great big box, size of Walmart sort of gym. That's not that's not a gym. That's a fitness studio. That's it's not what we do. And so it's so you can find gyms out there too. But I like home gyms because they work and people tend to stick to it better. You don't have to convince yourself to go to the gym. You're already at the gym. It's at your house. Right. It's easy to come home, pull in the garage, and get your workout done right after work. And if you get home from work at 5:15, your workout's done by 6:15, and you're done for the night, and you don't have to worry about that drive time. And so, lots of advantages for sure.
Absolutely, and like I'm not kidding. The bang for the buck, when he started talking about just the amount of equipment we were going to need, the same thing that he just mentioned. It was the complete workout, just the entire body. So yeah, I encourage if that's something that's feasible for you, I think that you should look for that. Matt, you have a website.
Yep, I do.
Talk about that a little bit.
So I'm ReynoldsStrong.com. So really online, I'm Reynolds Strong. I have converted to I'm an online coach. I train. I've got clients that hire me to basically write their programming, and then what they do is I write their programming. They video their lifts like on their cell phones. Everybody's cell phone has an HD camera now. They email it to me. My email is reynoldsstrong@gmail.com.
No, I'll put a link.
So ReynoldsStrong.com, and you can contact me through the website as well. ReynoldsStrong@gmail.com. And they video their lifts every single workout. They send me their lifts. I break them down, so I'm coaching them on the lifts and sending it back to them. The degradation in service there between what you guys got today is I was able to help fix your squat 1 rep at a time. So every rep you did, I could clean up a little bit. Your next rep a little bit, I could clean it up a little bit. And with online coaching, you're getting your form is being cleaned up every session, right? So after Monday's workout, you send me the videos and I clean them up, and then Wednesday we see if there's progress, and you send me the videos and I clean that up and form coach and do this and I see that you're on your toes and get off your knees and sit back more and push your knees out and hold your breath and whatever. I see all that kind of stuff and break it down, and so that works pretty good. I'm also Reynolds Strong online, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that kind of stuff. So Reynolds Strong is all kind of the place to find stuff out about me. Again, we're putting a book together, and we'll continue to do these seminars. And I travel and speak all the time. I've done seminars for 5 or 6 years now. Love to speak, love to talk, love to talk business as well. Again, after owning the gym. So if you're out there and you're a firearms instructor, or you're law enforcement, or you're fire department, and you're starting to put together a fitness like a center for your team, and you want to know what to buy, like I'd love to just talk about that. If you ever want to talk to me on the phone, that first kind of phone call is free. That's not something that I'm on a charge for. I'm passionate about talking about that stuff, and then I'm happy to consult and do that kind of stuff all the time. And I don't think I'm too expensive, so I love that stuff. And again, if you're interested in having me to your spot, if you've got a group of guys, and I can handle probably really responsibly, I can probably handle up to 10 or 12 people with one coach. And if you have have more than 12, then I would bring an additional coach. But if you've got somewhere in that ballpark, if you've got at least say 6 or 7 up to about 12, I'm happy to come to your spot and do a Fight Strong seminar for you and walk through the basics of basically strength, conditioning, and nutrition for how to make you harder to kill.
I recommend Fight Strong. I went through it. Some of my closest friends have gone through it. I feel like I'm confident that I'm going to be much better, much farther along this time next year following this program. Very concise, very powerful 2 days. If you struggle with your fitness, this will clarify so many things for you. Give Matt an opportunity. I will post the links underneath. Matt, thank you so much.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
It was a fabulous 2 days.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks, Tactical Response, for hosting Matt and Fight Strong. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you again next time.